Welcome to this online training on building a cross-border cooperation partnership. In the TESIM online training on project development, Anna, Boris and Carla are working on a cross-border cooperation project on reduction of pollution in water bodies. In this episode, we will see how they met and why and how they decided to work together. The key principle of a cross-border cooperation project is partnership across the EU borders. In order to build a successful partnership, one has to find the right partners, work together on the project development, distribute roles and responsibilities, and draft the partnership agreement. Now, let us look at the partner search. The cross-border cooperation programs require that projects are implemented in partnership. At least one partner from the European Union and one from an EU neighboring country have to be involved. But for some programs, this might not be enough. Please check program documents for additional requirements concerning the minimum number of partners and countries to be involved, especially if you are going to apply to a sea basin program.
Anna, good to hear from you again. I share your ideas and your environmental concerns. We could work together to find the most efficient way to address the challenge. Besides, as our water bodies are interconnected with those of the Rivala region on the other side of the border, we should also consider involvement of organisations from that region. But let me just check something.
Okay.
As I remember, there is a call for proposals of a cross-border cooperation programme opening soon, and they have defined environment as one of their priorities. I think that this could be a good opportunity. What would you say?
It is good that they address the environmental issues. But what does a cross-border cooperation programme mean?
It is a programme that supports partnership projects that are jointly implemented by organisations located in eligible regions of neighbouring countries, as working on joint solutions to solve common problems is more effective. Since our region is located on the border, we can participate in it.
Indeed, together we can achieve more, but this also means that we need a partner on the other side of the border. How will we find one?
You have multiple tools at your disposal, and you have to choose one or several of them. Each cross-border cooperation program usually has an online database on previously implemented projects, where you can find information on partners who have participated in them. In addition, several programs also have online partner search tools, where you can post your project idea and indicate what kind of project partner you are looking for. Don't forget to check on the program website for the regions and types of institutions eligible for funding under your program. Then be proactive and address those of your interest. You can also attend program information events and partner search fora, looking for the institutions or organizations that can be of interest for you. Another possibility is to consult people in your own network or ask for relevant contacts at the umbrella organizations, such as an association of local authorities or NGO network. You can also search for partners on KEEP, which is an EU-wide online project database of cooperation projects that also include organizations from neighboring countries that have participated in cross-border cooperation projects. Last but not least, you can also contact program bodies or your national authority, who can share your request with other networks. You can also check strategies or plans of the neighboring regions and try to identify institutions operating in the field of your interest. In order to communicate your proposal to the potential project partners properly, draft a short and clear project idea that you can share with them.
Hi Anna, so please tell me you've already found our first partner.
Hi Boris, I've checked the database of the Association of Local Municipalities and the database of the Programme for Partners of Already Implemented Projects in the Rivala region.
And so far, did you get any positive feedback?
I sent over 25 emails and received 9 replies saying they're not interested or not available. Also, 2 messages from people who are looking for partners, but they don't match with us. Please, let's have a look at them.
Yes, I see. Indeed, the profile of the 2 institutions does not seem to be right. I think that we have to be a bit more patient with the partner search.
Wait, one more reply has just arrived, and it goes like this.
Dear Anna, my name is Carla, and I am the Deputy Head of the Regional Administration of Rivala. I was glad to receive your request, and I am very interested to work on the issues you want to address in your cross-border cooperation project. I hope that my previous experience as lead partner of an EU-funded project on coastal water management will be helpful.
Eureka!
Well, now you have a partner on the other side of the border. The first step is taken, but it is a long way to go. It will take many emails, meetings, and brainstormings to develop your project proposal properly. And please do not forget that you are applying to a cross-border cooperation program, which puts a high value on the quality of project partnership. You have to build a balanced partnership with organizations having adequate experience, expertise, and capacity to implement project activities. Have a look at the specific requirements of your program in the documents of the call for proposals, and especially in the evaluation criteria to make sure that your project is positively assessed in this regard. During project development, you will need to check that the planned activities fall into competence of your organizations, and maybe you will need to involve further partners who can add value to your project.
Considering our project idea focus, it should mostly fall within our competences, and if we'll need to carry out some small specific study, we could outsource it as it is quite technical.
I agree.
Well done! Now you have your partnership set up and you have agreed on your project idea. Now it is time to start working together to fully develop it. And for this, you will need to share data and documentation to enhance the quality of your project proposal, which means that you will need to talk and exchange a lot during the coming months.
You know, we have some time before the deadline, so we need to prepare a thorough plan and agree on the information that we need to collect.
Sure, but we have to check what kind of data on our institutions, experiences and expertise we will need to provide in the project application. Probably an info sheet will help us in gathering all this data.
But not only this, we will need to collect data to prove the relevance of our projects to our target groups in the involved areas. This is a lot of work. How will we manage it, being located in different countries? We cannot have endless phone calls every day.
As you know, there are different free communication tools that you can use to overcome the location constraints, like emails, Skype calls, or WhatsApp. Besides, there are online platforms like Google Drive or Dropbox that you can use as a repository for the documents that you need to share with your project partners. For more information on these tools, please refer to the partner support pack on our platform. However, irrespective of these tools, face-to-face meetings with the partners will still be needed, at least for the final validation of the main strategic decisions. Now we know how our project partners met, and from the videos on project development, we know how they have been working together. However, development of the project content is not the only challenge that the project partners face. You also have to distribute the roles and responsibilities, both for development and implementation of the project. Partners in each project have to appoint an applicant among themselves, who will be in charge of submission of the application, and upon approval of the project, will be leading the project implementation.
So, it means that one of us will be bossing around the others?
Not exactly. We had this setup in my previous project. It is called the lead partner principle, and it means that one of the partners takes the lead in the project. After we sign the grant contract, it will be called the lead beneficiary, while the other partners will simply be called beneficiaries. Still, the main project decisions are jointly taken by all project partners. Also, each of the partners will implement its own part of the project according to the tasks and responsibilities jointly agreed.
I see. So we are jointly working on the development of the project and its implementation later on. But how should we decide who will be the lead partner? Are there any specific criteria available?
The lead partner will have extra tasks and responsibilities, as it will represent the entire project partnership and legally act on behalf of it. For example, it will submit the application and communicate with the managing authority. It will also sign the grant contract with the managing authority in case the application is selected for financing. It will receive payments and transfer to project partners their respective budget share. The lead partner will be also responsible for the overall monitoring and reporting on the project.
I see. This means that the applicant organisation has to have good project management capacity and probably also the capacity to deal with the legal requirements.
Yes, you are right. And on top of this, it also has to have the financial capacity to receive payments and to transfer payments in euro to the partners.
Now, I see that even if my NGO has come up with the project idea, probably it will not be strong enough to act as a lead applicant of the project.
And our regional council will not be willing to take the lead in this project, as it will be difficult for us to make the financial transfers to the other partners. We do not have such experience so far.
Well, that leaves us with only one option. Our regional administration has been acting as the lead partner previously, so we have the necessary experience and capacities for it. If you agree, I will arrange a meeting with our head to discuss it.
For more information on tasks and responsibilities of project partners during the development of the application and during the project implementation, you can refer to the table on responsibilities that is available in the supporting materials on this platform. Now, let us look what else is needed to develop your project partnership.
Indeed, on top of what we will describe in the project application form, how should we further commit to work together to ensure a smooth project implementation if we get selected?
Well, as partners, your organizations will be requested by the program to sign a partnership agreement. The partnership agreement will clarify your commitments, including payments, recoveries, reporting, keeping of the documents, access for control, and ownership of the outputs. It will also describe the tasks, responsibilities, and communication flows among the project partners, as well as the decision-making process, for example, the setup of a project steering committee. It is important that all partners get an early understanding of their commitment in case the application is successful. To have an idea of what a grant contract and the partnership agreement implies, check the documents for the particular call for proposals. You can also find it useful to look into the partnership agreement checklist that is available in the supporting documents on our platform. Well, you have successfully used the partner search tools. You have efficiently worked with your partners on developing the application, and you have set up a balanced distribution of roles and responsibilities, and you know that you will need to formalize them in the partnership agreement later on. Now, you have to finalize your work on the application by developing the project budget. For more information on this, watch our next video on project budget development. We hope that you have enjoyed this cross-border cooperation online training, and we wish you every success in building your CBC partnership.